Hey guys, it's Yuzora, and today we are here to talk about the new Japanese light cruisers, and more specifically the Yodo, the tier 10. So, these light cruisers, they are going to enter early access with update 0.11.10, and it's the usual, you buy random bundles for 1000 doubloons, and then you can get tokens, and then you have more bundles, and Yodo herself will be the final rewards, costing 2000 doubloons. No, sorry, 20,000 doubloons. Yeah, that's expensive. And you might ask, okay, would you be anything worth spending doubloons to obtain? Well, how should I put it? So, to begin with these Japanese light cruisers, Wargaming tried to make some kind of hybrid between roaming DPS cruisers such as Hindenburg, Henri IV, Zao, Goliath, you name it, I suppose. And at the same time, there are supposed to be torpedo cruisers, just like the Pan-Asian light cruisers. And the problem is that they kind of suck at both jobs. Let's put it this way. So, when you're talking about a roaming DPS cruiser, there are a few important things you want to see on them. Obviously, you want a good damage output since it's their main game influence. You want good maneuverability since you will be, wandering around, dodging shells, etc., etc. If you don't have that, you at least want decent armor or extra survivability quirks. Like, for example, the British heavy cruisers with the super heal, and also Goliath having somewhat improved armor. And the problem is that those Japanese light cruisers have none of that. So, when you are talking about Yodo herself, firstly, this ship is an absolute fucking unit. When you remember Nevsky is already a big light cruiser. Well, Yodo is longer, she's wider, and she sits higher on the water. And that makes her a very tempting target, because on top of that, guess what? Her maneuverability is terrible. She has a huge turning radius, the rudder shift time is also terrible, to the point where I'm actually running the rudder shift about 2 instead of concealment, because otherwise you are just getting your ass clapped in minutes. Now you might ask, okay, but how is the agile? How is the armor? Well, well, it isn't good. So Yodo herself, she's fully covered with 25 to 30 millimeters of armor, which is not good at tier 10. The Citadel itself, the main belt is at 110 millimeters, which is really not good. And even the bloody turrets. These turrets, I can tell you that, they are going to be a rage-inducing factor in your games. Because they are mostly covered with, actually they are entirely covered with 25 to 32 millimeters of armor. Which means that basically any cruiser or battleship shell can incapacitate them. Just to give you an idea, one of the last few games I played, I ended up with 8 turret incapacitations, with at some point all 3 rear turrets being gone. So I can tell you, when it happens, it's not fun. and it happens often. At this point, you're wondering, okay, there are blast cannons that ended like school buses. What about the damage output? Well, you have good alpha damage. That's something. When the alpha damage is something around 45,000 for the HE, compared to that with 40,800 damage. So yeah, you have a slight edge, that's something, with 18 guns. The thing is that compared to Zao, the ballistic, firstly, is terrible. It's not... It's already a bit better than on Minotaur or Wooster. The thing is that, compared to Minotaur or Wooster, you don't want to play at close range, because at close range you get obliterated because you have terrible maneuverability. So you rather want to stick at range, at which point you will struggle to hit enemy cruisers. And even on battleships active maneuvering, it is not great. When it comes to the DPM, it's rather mediocre, with 216,000 DPS for the HE, DPM, sorry. And you might think, okay, but you know, Nevsky has only 200,000 DPM. Well, yes. But as I just said, Nevsky can actually hit targets at range. She has absolutely no issue with her fast reload and great ballistics to hit targets. Yodo, it's not the case. And the same goes for the Zao. The Zao, okay, she has no reload, but she has Destroyer or Dispersion, and she has amazing ballistics. So yeah, the damage output, it's not there either. And not even the far starting capacity, because with the long reload and the fairly low fire chances, well, if you do, it's not that great. It really isn't. And I can tell you that much. The rest of the line, it's not better. You know, it's... Let's just say it's the somewhat rotten cherry at the top of a pile of turd. Yeah, that's just how bad this whole line is. I won't go as far as saying that they are dead on arrival, but I'm not that close from saying it. So, that's for the main battery. Normally I didn't forget anything. Now you're wondering, okay, what are the torpedoes then, if it's supposed to be hybrids between DPM cruisers and torpedo cruisers? Well, the torpedoes have good damage. That's something. They have nearly 24,000 damage per hit, with also good range with 15 kilometers and also good firing angles. The thing is that when you want to have a line with torpedoes being one of the main damage output, you want the torpedoes to be reliable. Guess what? On the Japanese light cruisers, they are not reliable. Because the torpedoes are slow, although, yeah, for Yodo, something at least, the speed just got buffed from 57 knots to 60 knots, which is not good. And as if the low speed wasn't enough, you also have bad detection range with 1.7 kilometers. And that translates to a pretty chunky 10.5 seconds of reaction time. In comparison, on destroyers like Alan or Gearing, examples on the Minotaur, the reaction time is around 7 to 8 seconds. Now you might say, the difference doesn't sound that big. Trust me, it is that big. On the Yodo, well, for the Yodo's torpedoes, unless it's a battleship with serious brain delay, these torpedoes will struggle to find their targets. So yeah, this whole line just sucks. Sorry to not even try to be optimistic with any aspect of this line, but there is genuinely nothing. Even, yeah, let's talk about it quickly. Someone might say, hey, but I saw they have good anti-air, at least with high tier ships. Well, yes, but actually no. Cool thing, the long range is good. You have high DPS on the long range as well as a high number of flak. The thing is that if you want the anti-air to be good, you also need proper constant DPS on the medium and close range. But the Japanese light cruisers, they don't have that. At best, the medium range is at the very best decent. But that's definitely not going to help you if you are facing a semi-competent carrier that can actually dodge the flak. So yeah, what can I say? Wargaming actually managed to make Zao look good now. Without buffing her or anything, they just released a certain shit that is so much worse than Zao. And genuinely, it makes me angry because when I saw these ships, when I saw Yodo with 18 guns, I thought, that's it, we're getting a line of roaming DPS like cruisers. But yeah, Wargaming just did everything they could to butcher this line. I just don't understand. I really don't. So much potential and they ruined it completely. Genuinely, do not go for random bundles for these light cruisers. They're just not worth at all. At best, you have Agano at tier 5, which is actually a worse how is it called? No, a worse Yahagi. But at least she has 4 tier very strong torpedoes, and considering that this year it's mostly very small, complete beginners or wannabe silk lovers, you should not have too much trouble to get torpedo hits. So, yeah, this whole line, just forget about it. Completely forget about it. Anyway, that's all for me. Sorry for being so grim in my review, but I can't be happy here. I really can't. I tried, but I can't. Anyway, see you guys later.